Commander Maya Chen stood at the bridge of the EDF Hyperion, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that stretched across the command center. The massive vessel, Earth's most advanced deep space explorer, cut through the darkness at the edge of known space. 20 years of human expansion had pushed their boundaries far beyond what anyone could have imagined, but Maya knew they were still infants crawling at the universe's feet. The bridge hummed with the quiet efficiency of her crew, each officer focused on their stations. Lieutenant Sarah Rodriguez, her sensor specialist, suddenly straightened in her chair. "Commander, I'm picking up something unusual," Rodriguez reported, her fingers dancing across her console. "It's unlike anything in our database." Maya moved to the sensor station, studying the readings. The object was massive, nearly twice the size of the Hyperion, and it was approaching at speeds that shouldn't have been possible according to their understanding of physics. "Analysis?" Maya asked, keeping her voice steady despite the flutter of excitement in her chest. "The energy signature is off the charts, Commander. Whatever it is, it's using technology far beyond our current capabilities." Rodriguez paused, double-checking her readings. "And it's decelerating. They know we're here." Maya returned to her command chair, her mind racing through protocols that suddenly seemed inadequate. Humanity had prepared for first contact since they'd first reached for the stars. But theory and reality were very different things. "All stations, battle ready," she ordered, watching as her crew responded with practiced precision. "But keep weapons powered down. Let's not start an interstellar incident." The alien vessel emerged from hyperspace like a predator surfacing from deep waters. Its hull was a deep, iridescent purple that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Geometric patterns traced across its surface in ways that defied conventional engineering. "We're being scanned," Rodriguez announced. "Their technology. It's like they're looking through us rather than at us." Maya took a deep breath. "Open all frequencies. Let's introduce ourselves." Before she could begin the first contact protocol, a beam of light materialized in the center of the bridge. Maya's security team raised their weapons, but she held up a hand to stop them. The light coalesced into a humanoid figure, tall and elegant, with skin that shimmered like the surface of their ship. The alien's eyes, 4 of them arranged in a diamond pattern, studied the bridge crew with an intensity that made Maya's spine tingle. When it spoke, its voice resonated directly in their minds. "We are the Quetzar," the being announced. "We have watched your kind's rapid advancement with great interest. You have achieved in decades what took other species millennia." Maya stood, maintaining her composure. "I am Commander Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. We welcome peaceful contact with your species." The Quetzar's upper eyes narrowed slightly. "Peace is a luxury of the powerful, Commander. Your species has yet to prove its worth in the greater galaxy." "Worth isn't measured only in technological advancement," Maya replied, careful to keep her tone respectful but firm. "Humanity has much to offer the galaxy beyond our weapons or ships." A sound like crystalline wind chimes filled their minds. The aliens' laughter. Bold words from a species that has barely left its cradle. "We have dominated space for 50,000 of your years. We have seen civilizations rise and fall like waves on an endless ocean." Maya smiled, recognizing the familiar dance of power dynamics. "Then perhaps you've grown comfortable in your dominance. Humanity's greatest strength isn't in what we've already achieved, but in what we're capable of becoming." The Quetzar's lower eyes widened slightly. "Surprise," Maya guessed. "Interesting. You do not bow to our superior technology, yet you do not challenge it either. Your species continues to intrigue us. We've learned that true strength lies in knowing when to stand firm and when to extend a hand in friendship," Maya said. "Our history has taught us that lesson many times over." The alien's form shimmed, its colors shifting through spectrums beyond human vision. "Then let us test this wisdom of yours, Commander. We have come with a purpose, one that will determine not only humanity's fate, but perhaps that of all spacefaring races." Maya felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. This wasn't just first contact. This was humanity's first test on the galactic stage. We're listening. Your species has achieved in 2 decades what others could not in 2,000 years. This rapid evolution concerns many of the elder races. Some believe you should be contained before you become a threat. And what do you believe? Maya asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. We believe in evidence, Commander. We believe in testing the metal before forging the blade. The Quetzal's form began to fade. Prepare your ship and your crew. The trials begin soon. Should you succeed, humanity will gain powerful allies. Should you fail, the being's final words echoed in their minds as it disappeared. Well, let us hope you do not fail. As the alien presence faded from the bridge, Maya turned to her crew. Their faces showed a mixture of awe, fear, and determination. The same emotion she felt churning in her own gut. Well, she said, managing a smile, it seems humanity has its first pop quiz in galactic politics. Let's make sure we ace it. Rodriguez spoke up from her station. Commander, the Quetzal vessel is maintaining position off our port bow. They've powered down their primary systems. But, she paused, frowning at her readings, they're emanating some kind of field I've never seen before. It's like they're waiting. Then we'll give them something worth waiting for, Maya replied, settling back into her command chair. All stations, begin full systems diagnostics. Whatever tests they have planned, we'll show them humanity's greatest strength isn't in our technology. It's in our ability to adapt, to think creatively, and to face challenges head-on. As her crew bustled into action, Maya stared at the magnificent alien vessel through the main viewport. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries. First contact with an advanced alien civilization. But now that it had arrived, she realized the real challenge wasn't in making contact, but in proving humanity deserved its place among the stars. The game was about to begin, and Maya intended to show the Quetzal that humanity's worth couldn't be measured by their standards alone. Sometimes, the youngest players at the table had the most to teach, and she had a feeling the Quetzal were about to learn that lesson firsthand. 3 days of tense waiting had passed since the Quetzal's dramatic appearance. Commander Maya Chen had used every moment to prepare her crew, but for what she couldn't say. The alien vessel remained a silent sentinel, its purple hull absorbing starlight like a cosmic shadow. The test, when it came, wasn't what anyone expected. Commander, Rodriguez called out, her voice tight with concern. We're detecting multiple spatial anomalies forming around us. They're everywhere. Maya watched as tiers in spacetime opened around the Hyperion, each one spewing forth what looked like debris. But as her sensors focused on the objects, she realized they weren't random space junk. They were pieces of advanced technology, each one damaged or broken in different ways. The Quetzal's voice resonated in their minds once again. Your first trial begins now. Before you lie fragments of civilizations that failed to survive their own advancement. You have 6 hours to demonstrate your worth by breathing life back into dead technology. Maya studied the field of technological debris surrounding her ship. Some pieces were clearly weapons, others looked like power sources, and many were completely unidentifiable. And what exactly constitutes success in this trial? That, Commander, is part of the test. Consider carefully what we value in those we would call equals. The presence faded, leaving Maya and her crew staring at a graveyard of alien technology. She immediately activated the ship-wide comm. This is the Commander. I need every engineer, every problem solver, every creative thinker we have on this ship to report to their emergency stations. We have 6 hours to prove humanity's worth, and we're going to do it our way. Teams were quickly organized, and EVA pods began retrieving the most promising pieces of technology. The cargo bay was transformed into a makeshift laboratory, where Earth's finest minds faced their greatest challenge yet. Dr. James Wong, the ship's chief engineer, approached Maya with a holographic display of their initial findings. Commander, some of this technology. It's beyond anything we've ever seen. The theoretical physics alone would take years to understand. Maya studied the complex diagrams floating before her. We don't have years, Doctor. We have hours. And maybe that's the point. They want to see how we handle problems we can't possibly fully understand. A young engineer named Patel spoke up from where she was examining what appeared to be a quantum communication device. Commander, what if we're approaching this wrong? We keep trying to understand how these things work, but maybe we should focus on what they're meant to do instead. Maya felt a spark of inspiration. Elaborate, engineer. Well, humans have always been good at finding unexpected solutions. Look at our history. When we couldn't make materials strong enough for our needs, we learned to use shapes and structures to compensate. When we couldn't build computers powerful enough, we created algorithms that made them work smarter instead of harder. You're suggesting we focus on function over form, Dr. Wong said, beginning to nod. Instead of trying to repair this technology exactly as it was, we make it work our way. Maya finished, a smile spreading across her face. That's brilliant, and it's exactly the kind of thinking that got humanity to the stars so quickly in the first place. The next 5 hours were a blur of activity. Teams worked together in ways that would have made any drill instructor proud. They didn't try to reconstruct the alien technology. Instead, they reimagined it. Where power sources were dead, they created hybrid systems using Earth technology as a bridge. Where quantum fields had collapsed, they established simpler but effective alternatives. With 30 minutes remaining, Maya stood in the cargo bay surrounded by their achievements. None of the alien technology had been restored to its original glory, but every piece now functioned in new and unexpected ways. The quantum communicator now operated using a combination of Earth's quantum entanglement theories and improvised alien components. A damaged weapons system had been transformed into a highly efficient energy converter. Commander, Rodriguez's voice came over the comm. The Quetzar ship is powering up. I think. Yes, we're being scanned again. The familiar presence of the Quetzar filled the cargo bay, this time manifesting as multiple figures who moved among the modified technology with obvious interest. Fascinating, the lead figure said, 4 eyes examining a particularly creative hybrid device. You did not restore this technology to its original state. No, Maya replied confidently. We made it work in new ways, ways that combine the best of both human ingenuity and alien advancement. Other species have attempted to preserve and restore. They sought to prove their worth by showing they could recreate what was lost. The Quetzar moved to another piece of hybrid technology. But you chose to innovate, to adapt, to transform. Humanity's greatest strength isn't in our ability to follow paths others have laid down, Maya said. It's in our ability to forge new ones. The Quetzar gathered together, their forms shimmering in what Maya was beginning to recognize as excitement. You have succeeded in this trial, but not for the reasons you might think. We did not wish to see if you could restore dead technology. We wished to see how you would approach a problem with no clear solution. Maya felt pride swelling in her chest, not just for herself, but for her entire species. And what have you learned about humanity from this test? That you are dangerous, the Quetzar said, causing Maya's pride to falter for a moment. But then they continued. Dangerous in the most promising way. You do not simply adopt technology. You reimagine it. You do not simply learn. You transform knowledge into new forms. This is why you advanced so quickly, not because you followed the paths of others, but because you created your own. The aliens' forms began to fade, but their final words lingered in the air. Prepare yourselves, humans. The next trial will test more than your ability to innovate. It will test your very understanding of what it means to be advanced. As the Quetzar vanished, Maya looked around at her exhausted but proud crew. They had passed the first test, but something in the Quetzar's final warning told her the real challenges were just beginning. Whatever came next, though, she knew humanity would face it the same way they faced everything, with creativity, determination, and the unshakable belief that there was always another way forward. The second trial came without warning. Maya was reviewing data from their first success when the Hyperion's artificial gravity suddenly failed. Emergency systems kicked in immediately, but something was wrong. The backup systems were being suppressed by an external force. All hands, secure stations, Maya ordered, magnetic boots automatically engaging as she floated above her command chair. Status report. Commander, it's not just the gravity. Rodriguez called out, her fingers flying across her console while she remained tethered to her station. We're losing power across all systems. Something's draining us. Through the viewport, Maya could see the Quetzar vessel glowing with an intense energy field that seemed to reach out toward the Hyperion like ethereal tentacles. But this didn't feel like another test. There was an urgency to it, a desperation that hadn't been present before. Then she saw it, a distortion in space, massive and growing larger by the second. It wasn't like the controlled tears the Quetzar had created for their first trial. This was something else entirely, something that made her instincts scream danger. The Quetzar's voice filled their minds, but this time it was strained, almost fearful. They have found us. The test must be accelerated. Show us now, humans, show us how you face extinction. Before Maya could respond, the distortion erupted into normal space. What emerged defied description. It was as if a piece of void had taken physical form, a darkness that consumed light and matter alike. The entity pulsed with an awful intelligence that Maya could feel pressing against her consciousness. Multiple contacts. Rodriguez shouted, "The void, it's spawning smaller entities. They're heading straight for us." Maya watched as fragments of living darkness broke away from the main mass, each one moving with predatory purpose. Launched defensive drones, all weapons systems online. But their weapons seemed to pass straight through the void creatures. The Hyperion's advanced targeting systems couldn't even get a proper lock on them. These beings, whatever they were, existed partially outside normal spacetime. The Quetzar ship suddenly moved between the Hyperion and the approaching threat. This is why we tested you, humans. This is what hunts us all. The Void Collective. Consumers of civilizations, devourers of light. We have fled them for millennia, searching for allies with the potential to fight back. Maya's mind raced. Their weapons were useless, their power was draining, and they faced an enemy that seemed to break the laws of physics. But if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was finding solutions where none seemed to exist. "Dr. Wong," she called over the comm, "remember how we modified that quantum communicator in the first trial? Could we adapt that technology to affect these creatures? The quantum field generator. But Commander, we barely understand how it." Wong's voice trailed off as he caught her meaning. Yes. If these entities exist partially outside normal spacetime, we might be able to force them fully into our reality. "Do it," Maya ordered. "Rodriguez, analyze those void fragments. Find me a pattern, something we can use." As her crew worked frantically, Maya opened a channel to the Quetzar vessel. "Why didn't you just ask for our help? Why the tests? Would you have believed us?" The Quetzar responded, "Would you have accepted that beings as advanced as we are powerless against this threat? We needed to know if you could think beyond conventional solutions, because conventional solutions are useless against the void." The ship shuddered as the first void fragments made contact with their hull. Alarms blared as the creatures began phasing through their strongest shields like they weren't even there. "Commander," Wong's voice crackled over the comm, "we've modified the quantum field generator, but we'll only get one shot at this. The power requirements will drain us completely." Maya finished, "I understand. Rodriguez, do you have that pattern?" "Yes, Commander. The fragments, they pulse in a specific sequence. If we time this right." Maya didn't hesitate. "Coordinate with Dr. Wong. Time your pulse with their rhythm. All hands, prepare for emergency protocols. Divert all remaining power to the modified quantum generator." The Hyperion's lights dimmed as power was rerouted. Maya could hear the hull groaning as more void fragments attached themselves to the ship. The darkness outside the viewport was almost complete now, the void entities having surrounded them entirely. "Ready on your mark, Commander," Wang reported. Maya took a deep breath. "Send a message to the Quetzar ship. Tell them to get clear of our field radius. Then fire on my mark." She watched as the Quetzar vessel gracefully moved away, their own weapons still firing uselessly at the void creatures. The timing had to be perfect. 3, 2, 1, mark. The modified quantum generator activated with a pulse that shook the entire ship. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then Maya saw it. The void fragments weren't passing through matter anymore. They had been forced fully into normal spacetime. "They're solid," Rodriguez shouted. "Commander, we can target them now." "All weapons, fire at will," Maya ordered. "Send targeting data to the Quetzar vessel." The space around the Hyperion lit up with weapons fire, but this time the shots connected. The void fragments, now fully bound by the laws of physics, couldn't withstand the combined firepower of both ships. One by one, they were destroyed. The main void entity pulsed with what felt like rage, but it too had been affected by the quantum pulse. Before it could react, the Quetzar vessel unleashed a weapon they must have been saving. A beam of pure energy that struck the entity's now vulnerable form. The void creature's death scream echoed in their minds as it collapsed in on itself, leaving behind nothing but a fading distortion in space. As emergency power came back online and systems began to stabilize, the Quetzar's voice returned, but different now, filled with something that sounded almost like awe. "In all our years of running, of searching for a way to fight them, we never considered simply changing the rules of engagement. You humans, you don't just think outside conventional boundaries. You refuse to acknowledge that boundaries exist at all." Maya allowed herself a small smile. Sometimes the best solution isn't the most powerful weapon or the most advanced technology. Sometimes it's just looking at the problem from a different angle. Indeed, the Quetzar agreed. "And now we must ask you something we have never asked another species. Will you teach us? Will you show us how to think as you do? Because we believe that in your young race's creativity lies the key to saving all of us." Through the viewport, Maya could see more distortions forming in the distance. The Void Collective wasn't finished with them. This had been just the beginning. But now, at least, they had a fighting chance. "We'll do better than teach you," Maya replied. "We'll fight alongside you. Because that's another thing humans are good at, turning enemies into allies, and allies into family." The Quetzar's response carried a new emotion. Hope. "Then perhaps, Commander, your trial has become our salvation." In the aftermath of the Void Collective's attack, the Hyperion's cargo bay had been transformed into an unprecedented collaboration space. Quetzar scientists, their iridescent forms shifting with excitement, worked alongside human engineers. The scene would have been unimaginable just days ago. Maya watched as Dr. Wang and a Quetzar scientist named Zalith examined holographic projections of their modified quantum field generator. The human and alien approaches to science were radically different, yet somehow complementary. "Your species' intuitive leaps are remarkable," Zalith communicated, their 4 eyes focusing on a particular modification. "You bypass centuries of theoretical framework to arrive at practical solutions. And your theoretical frameworks help us understand why our hunches work," Wang replied, making adjustments to the hologram. "Together, we might actually have a chance against the Void Collective." Maya's comm unit chimed. "Commander, you need to see this," Rodriguez called from the bridge. "Long-range sensors are picking up something big." When Maya reached the bridge, she understood the urgency in her officer's voice. The tactical display showed hundreds of void rifts opening across multiple sectors of space. The Void Collective wasn't just sending scouts anymore. This was an invasion force. "How long?" Maya asked. "At their current pace, 12 hours before they reached the nearest human colony." Rodriguez's voice was steady, but her hands trembled slightly. The Quetzar say this is the largest concentration of void entities they've ever encountered. Maya activated the ship-wide comm. All science teams, report to the bridge immediately. Bring whatever you've got, ready or not. Time just became our enemy. Within minutes, the bridge was crowded with humans and Quetzar, all studying the tactical displays. The Void Collective's approach was methodical, consuming everything in their path. Asteroids, abandoned stations, even light itself. The quantum field generator works, Wam reported, but we can't generate a field large enough to affect that many entities. We'd need more power than 1,000 Hyperions to create a field that size. Maya noticed one of the Quetzar scientists, Ixel, moving in what she learned was their version of barely contained excitement. You have an idea. Your quantum field does not need to be large, Ixel communicated. It needs to be precise. Observe. Their form shifted, creating a holographic representation of space-time. The Void Collective exists in multiple dimensional states simultaneously, but they maintain connection to their primary form through quantum entanglement. Like a quantum puppet show, Paddle suggested from her engineering station, the fragments we see are just projections of the main entity. Crude, but essentially correct, Ixel confirmed. If we can disrupt the quantum entanglement at its source, we can force the entire collective into normal space at once. Wang finished, already making calculations. But we'd need to get close to their primary form, whatever that is. Maya studied the tactical display, watching the pattern of the void entities advance. There. That massive distortion at the center of their formation, that has to be their primary form. A suicide mission, one of the Quetzars stated bluntly. No ship could get close enough to deploy the quantum field. Maya smiled. No single ship, no. But what if we work together? Your ships have superior shielding technology. Ours are more maneuverable. If we coordinate. The next hours were a blur of activity. The Quetzar called in every ship they had in the sector, while Maya contacted Earth Defense Command. The plan was ambitious, perhaps impossible, but it was their only chance. 6 hours later, Maya stood on the Hyperion's bridge, watching as the combined human Quetzar fleet took formation. 20 Earth ships, their hulls modified with Quetzar shielding technology. 15 Quetzar vessels, their weapon systems integrated with human targeting algorithms. In the center, the Hyperion and the Quetzar flagship, connected by a specially designed quantum bridge. All ships report ready, Commander, Rodriguez announced. The Void Collective will be in range in 5 minutes. Maya opened a channel to the entire fleet. This is Commander Chen. What we attempt today has never been done before. Not just this tactic, but this level of cooperation between our species. The Void Collective believes they are invincible because they exist beyond conventional rules. Today, we change the rules. She nodded to Wang and his Quetzar counterparts. Begin power transfer sequence. The fleet began to move in perfect synchronization. Human ships darted through the void fragments, drawing their attention while Quetzar vessels provided covering fire. The Hyperion and the Quetzar flagship pushed forward, protected by the rest of the fleet. Multiple void entities attempting to phase through our shields, Rodriguez reported. Reroute power from weapons to the quantum bridge, Maya ordered. We only need to get close enough for one shot. The ships shuddered as void fragments attacked from all sides. The modified shields held, but barely. Through the viewport, Maya could see the massive primary form of the Void Collective, a writhing mass of darkness that seemed to consume the very fabric of space. We're in range, Wang shouted. Quantum field generator at full power. The Quetzar flagship confirms synchronization. Maya took a deep breath. All ships, fall back to minimum safe distance. Initiate quantum pulse on my mark. The void entities seemed to sense their intention. They swarmed toward the 2 ships with renewed fury, their attacks growing more desperate. Shield failure in 30 seconds, Rodriguez warned. All power to the quantum field generator, Maya commanded. Fire. The combined power of both ships surged through the quantum bridge. The generator pulsed with energy beyond anything they'd achieved in their earlier test. For a moment, space itself seemed to hold its breath. Then reality twisted. The massive form of the Void Collective suddenly solidified, its ethereal darkness condensing into physical matter. Every void fragment connected to it underwent the same transformation. For the first time, in perhaps millions of years, the entire collective existed fully in normal spacetime. All ships, open fire, Maya ordered. The combined firepower of the human Quetzar fleet struck the now vulnerable collective. Without their ability to phase between dimensions, they were simply targets. Large, powerful targets, but targets nonetheless. The collective's death throes sent shockwaves through space, but when the energy dissipated, only debris remained. As damage reports came in and repair crews began their work, Maya received a transmission from the Quetzar flagship. Their leader's form appeared on the bridge, more solid than their usual projections. "Commander Chen," they communicated, their mental voice carrying a new warmth. "Today marks more than a victory over the Void Collective. Today marks the beginning of a true partnership between our peoples." Maya nodded. "Together, we're stronger than either of us alone." Human innovation and creativity combined with Quetzar knowledge and technology. We could reshape the galaxy. Indeed, the Quetzar leader agreed. But first, we have much to teach each other, and much to prepare for. The Void Collective, Maya asked. They were not the only threat lurking in the darkness between stars. But now, for the first time in millennia, we faced those threats not with fear, but with hope. 1 year after the defeat of the Void Collective, the Hyperion docked at Harmony Station, the first joint human-Quetzar construction project. The massive space station hung in high orbit around Earth, its design a perfect fusion of human and Quetzar architecture. Through the viewport, Maya could see ships from both species moving in carefully choreographed patterns, their crews working together with practiced efficiency. "Still feels like a dream sometimes," Rodriguez said, standing beside her commander. The lieutenant had earned her own command during the past year, but had requested to stay with the Hyperion. "To think it all started with them testing us." Maya smiled, watching as a group of human children toured the station's promenade alongside young Quetzar. The alien children's forms shifted with excitement as they shared stories with their human counterparts. "They didn't just test us," Maya replied. "They tested themselves, their own assumptions about what makes a civilization worthy of survival." The station's quantum comm system activated, projecting the familiar form of High Speaker Zaleth, who had once been a mere scientist, but now represented the Quetzar in the newly formed Galactic Cooperation Council. "Commander Chen," Zaleth greeted, their form shimmering with formal patterns. "The Council awaits your report on the deep space anomalies." Maya nodded, gathering her materials. Over the past year, several phenomena similar to void rifts had been detected in distant sectors. But thanks to the combined efforts of human and Quetzar scientists, they now had ways to detect and study these anomalies before they became threats. The council chamber was a marvel of both engineering and diplomacy. Representatives from Earth and various Quetzar worlds sat together, their seats arranged not by species but by expertise. Scientists, warriors, and leaders from both civilizations had learned to value their differences as much as their similarities. "We've completed our analysis of the Gamma Sector anomalies," Maya began, activating a holographic display. "While they share some characteristics with void rifts, we believe these are actually naturally occurring phenomena that could be harnessed for faster-than-light travel." A Quetzar scientist named Krelfor, their form glowing with scholarly interest, leaned forward. "You suggest we could use these rifts as a new form of space travel?" "With modification," Maya confirmed. "Dr. Wong and his team have developed a theoretical framework based on our quantum field technology. The Quetzar understanding of dimensional physics makes it possible. Together, we could create stable wormholes that would revolutionize space exploration." The chamber erupted in excited discussion. "A year ago," Such an idea would have been dismissed as dangerous speculation. But the success of human-Quetzar cooperation had changed more than their technology. It had changed how both species approached the very concept of possibility. High Speaker Zalith raised their hands for silence. Commander Chen, you once told me that humanity's greatest strength lies not in what you are, but in what you could become. I believe we Quetzar are finally beginning to understand that wisdom. Maya noted how the High Speaker's form had adopted some human mannerisms, a subtle but significant sign of how both species were evolving through their contact. The defeat of the Void Collective was just the beginning, Maya said. There are more threats out there, more challenges to face, but we face them together, not just as allies, but as teachers and students of each other. She gestured to the station around them. Harmony Station isn't just a symbol. It's proof that different species can do more than coexist. We can grow together, challenge each other, and become something greater than either of us could have been alone. A junior human scientist raised her hand. Commander, we've detected similar quantum signatures from other sectors of the galaxy. Some of them, well, they suggest other civilizations might be out there, watching us. Let them watch, Maya replied with a smile. Let them see what happens when ancient wisdom and young innovation come together. The Quetzar tested humanity to see if we were worthy of joining galactic society. Instead, we all discovered that galactic society itself needed to evolve. High Speaker Zalith's form rippled with agreement. Our people had grown stagnant in our power, believing that age and advancement were the same thing. You humans taught us that true advancement comes from constant growth, from the willingness to question and change. The chamber's viewing window offered a spectacular view of Earth below. Maya could see the gleaming points of light that marked the new Quetzar embassies and cultural centers. Similar human facilities now existed on Quetzar worlds, each one a bridge between their species. The Void Collective thought they could consume civilizations because they existed beyond normal space, Maya said. We prove that the real power lies not in transcending physical laws, but in understanding them well enough to change them. And now, she activated another holographic display, showing the experimental deep space vessels their combined technology had produced. Now we stand ready to explore the galaxy together, not as conquerors or mere survivors, but as pioneers of a new way of existence. The council chamber filled with approving sounds from both species. Plans were already being made for joint exploration missions, for new stations like Harmony, for exchanges of knowledge and culture that would benefit both civilizations. As Maya concluded her report, she caught Rodriguez smiling at her. What? She asked her friend. Just thinking about that first contact, Rodriguez replied. When they appeared on our bridge, testing us, probably never imagining they'd end up learning as much from us as we did from them. Maya watched as human and Quetzar council members mingled, sharing ideas and stories with equal enthusiasm. That's the real evolution, not just in our technology or capabilities, but in our understanding of what's possible when different species work together. Through the station's windows, she could see more ships arriving, vessels of exploration and discovery, crewed by both humans and Quetzar. The galaxy was vast, full of both wonders and dangers, but they would face it together. We're not just reaching for the stars anymore, Maya said softly. We're helping each other become them. The future stretched out before them, infinite in its possibilities. Humanity had not just earned its place among the stars. They had helped forge a new way of existing among them. And somewhere out in the darkness between galaxies, other civilizations watched and wondered if perhaps they too should evolve.